First of all, I want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to actually take the time off to come talk to you guys on y'all's lunch break. My name is Augustine. So I was a narcotic student starting 2004. That whole time all the way up into 2018. I was a narcotic 2004 up into 2007. We moved here to Kwaj. We lived here from 2007 all the way up into 2018. Sadly, I got to move back to Ebi, so I went back to commuting back and forth. But that didn't stop me from wanting to learn, wanting to chase my dreams. But I'm here to tell you guys, listen, Kwajalein High School, it's a fantasy. In the real world, like in the stateside, you have kids in high school that have jobs. I know you can't really get jobs out here, but you gotta do with what you have. While I was in high school, I worked in movie theaters from freshman year all the way up to senior, just so I can make a little money. But I thought that was a lot of money at that time. No, it's not. Not enough to suffice in the States. After I graduated, I got accepted to Arizona State University, and I think the tuition was $44,000. But with all my scholarship money, I had $38,000. So I was, I think, $6,000 short. So I made the ultimate deal, like last minute, a week before I flew out. I was like, Mom, Dad, just give me $2,000, give me a month, and I'll do what I can with it. So I gave him the rest of my money, flew to Arkansas, enlisted over there. Within a month of being there, did my paperwork, enlisted, shipped out, and then that was when my life began. Like, reality hit me. You know, it's just like, growing up on Kwaj is really different and growing up in the stateside, because everything is not given to you. You gotta get up, go and get it. But there's some of us that are blessed, you know, we have our family that support us, but on the long run, we're not gonna have them for much long. So you gotta be able to make your own money, make a living out of yourself, and then your end goal is to really give back to the community that you grew up in. And that's my final goal. I'm trying to, you know, do my time in the military, get out whatever I can out of it for free, and then hopefully come back, settle here, and then, you know, just give back. That's my end goal. So if you guys have any questions, I'm open for any questions. Well, so right now I'm still going through the process of getting my citizenship. And then because when I initially recruited, my recruiter thought I was a US citizen because I came from this garrison. And he's like, oh, you're from Kwajalein Garrison? US Army citizen. I was like, no. So I never went through the process through basic training. All my paperwork was on hold for some odd reason because I was going through my clearance stuff. But it's in the process right now. They transferred everything. I'm just waiting for a date to actually go in and get questioned. Really, it's not really that hard. It's just they know of the compact of free association. You gotta explain to some of them because they're not gonna know. It was. So my first time in the States was back in 2015. We dropped off my older brother to college. He went to University of Arizona. So then I didn't really think much of it because I was like, I'm in high school. I don't really got to think about this. And then time came after I graduated and I'm in the States. I'm by myself waiting for my brother. And it's just like, wow, I'm Marshallese. And this is really, never thought I'd be here. So from there, I knew I was like, you really got to do what you got to do to get to where you got to be. And then, like I was telling Miss B, so as I was going through school, I was kind of going through a phase where just like I was being careless and then not knowing what I was doing. And then one of my teachers, Mr. Fullerton, I don't know, I think I was studying this one night and then his words, because he had said, knowledge is power. And then I was trying to think, I was like, what do you mean by that? So everything you read and you comprehend, you got to take it within yourself and then use it to see how it can benefit you on the long run. And that's really keys to living in life. You can't just be like, hear what people say and just believe what they say. You gotta double check, verify, see if it's actually true. You gotta do your research on your own. So going through boot camp, now we all know that Kwajalein doesn't have data. So it was a big culture shock for me because growing up here, I had the iPhone 7 Plus. So I was mainly used to Wi-Fi, only Wi-Fi. So when I was going through basic, and then we were given that time to like call our families, I was looking at everyone, they were on the phone. I was like, you guys got free Wi-Fi? And they're like, no, we're using data. I'm like, what's that? So that was a big culture shock for me, growing up with no data. But now it's just like, okay, Wi-Fi everywhere, but not really. It's just a service. And then I chose the Army because, for one, I grew up around water. I didn't want to go Navy because I grew up around water. I see it a lot. And then two, I feel like with the Army, it's more diverse in terms of any jobs you want. Like me, I would have been a 15 Romeo, which is Apache mechanic. But I seen fueler, and I was trying to get more into it. Because I know on island, we have all these fuel farms. I was thinking more on the long terms. So like once I get that certificate of my credentials, I can really come back here and be like, oh, I've dealt with fuel before. I know the different types of fuel. It'll be a perfect job for me to come here and just settle. That's my end goal. The military test is called the ASVAB, and they have, if you look online, there's a lot of practice tests you can take, and then it's really, they got different sections that you can choose. Like, so if you take like a pre-test, it'll tell you where your struggles are, and then I think you can just, it'll give you those classes and then you just study from that. And then just, you can retake it anytime you want, and then see where you go from there. That's from my experience. I say not go the Army side and actually go to college, but you know, I'd be more open to like teaching and lecturing more than just keeping the knowledge to myself, because that's something, you know, I basically gatekeep the knowledge I had in high school, which is not much, but enough to get by. So the knowledge I have right now, if I was back in high school, I would definitely teach the younger students and be like, yo, listen up. If you do this, you get that. So right now, I'm in the middle of school. I'm on my way to earning my associate's degree. And then I'm only 4.5 years in. By the time October comes, I'll be 5 years in. And then I'm just trying to ride it out till the last, my contract ends, which is 2028. My goal is to my goal is to switch over to the warrant side and then become a pilot from there. It's like as another option. So I can come back here and actually fly with any contractor out here that's in the aviation side. That's a good question. I had a couple of teachers, Miss B being one of them, Mr. Fullerton. They were just really my motivation, because I used to be a class clown. So, and then their words, I knew they were like kind of joking with me, but at the same time, their words were just like a encouragement, like you can do better than this. But they would always remind me, you're a class clown. But I had to show out to prove them wrong. But that, you know, nowadays to realize what they were doing, they were just encouraging me, because they knew I had potential. So I had to use that to the best of my abilities to be where I'm at today, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you. That's my time with you guys. I appreciate you all for coming here and listening. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Troy Asbury.
Susan Underbrink.
Diana Stokes-Bacon.
Amber Bates.
Darren Wielden.
Father Jim.
Thomas Prim. I'm the Chief of Police here on Kwaj and Toll. Yeah, the police department is pretty vital for the community. We provide multiple services for the installation and for the community members that reside and come and work on the installation. We provide security, help with community service and stuff like that.
We are the explosive ordnance disposal crew here on Kwajalein, the civilian contractors. We're here to support incidental finds, so whenever anyone's doing any work or happens to be out walking around and finds a piece of ordnance that they might think is explosive in nature, we'll respond, we'll recon it, determine whether it is something that needs to be disposed of, and take it and store it in our magazine and dispose of it as we can.
Yeah, our group is called the Yukwayuk Welcome Club. We used to be called the Yukwayuk Women's Club. This started as a spouse organization, and we've expanded and become the Welcome Club. We're open to men and women, and even the youth in the community, anybody who wants to support education in the Marshall Islands. How we support education in the Marshall Islands is obviously through fundraising. We give money back through grants at the end of the year. Last year we gave back $30,000 in grants to lots of different schools throughout the Marshall Islands and Micronesia, and we do that through the Mike Shop, which is right here behind me. We do that through our Bargain Bazaar, which is our thrift store down by the dock, and then we have separate fundraising events. We're going to have an 80s murder mystery dinner we have coming up. We have a sunrise yoga and brunch event coming up. And we're also going to partner with we're hoping to partner with the Art Guild to do an art show sometime this year.
So what we basically do is if any of the contractors are going to be doing any excavation deeper than 6 inches, we have a sensitivity map of the island where we look and see, is it going to be highly sensitive or lower sensitivity, or in the very far north of the island it's post-war fill, so there's not going to be any archaeology there. Then we go out and monitor, and this is when we uncover artifacts.
Well, we would want everyone in Kwaj to know that we are a hospital. We have a clinic, and we also have an inpatient hospital portion. We offer pharmacy, physical therapy, we have a surgeon, we have a dental department, vet, so we're all-encompass healthcare. So if you're new on island, please stop through the hospital and get a pre-registration package or in-processing package, which makes your process easier. So in the event you need to come to the hospital, you're not going to waste time having to fill out the paperwork. We already have you registered, everything in the system, and we can begin your care.
This table is about spiritual readiness and wellness. Okay, so we show you the various offerings that the chapel offers. You have a full Catholic program and a full Protestant program. We have just started a Muslim section. There are Jewish personnel on the island that also accommodate themselves. We offer lots of books, materials. We have various Bible classes. I offer an adult education on Theology on Tap. We have children's church, and we have various types of spiritual wellness information. Whether you come to the chapel or not, there's always these chapel prayer cards that people can come and write on their own, and the whole chapel, not just one side, the whole chapel prays for those intentions. We have a men's group on the Protestant side that meets every week. That's on Thursday night. Come on in. We love to have you. Whether you come every time or not, we enjoy you coming to the chapel and being present with us when you can.
And this is the KMIA table. We're raising funds for the nonprofit group that's out here, the Kwajalein MIA project. And what we do is we are actually out looking in the lagoon for wrecks that still have missing service members on them. So there's quite a few that are still unaccounted for out there. And so what we do is we go out and we survey the lagoon and we find old wrecks. Once we find the wrecks, we dive on them and survey the area more. And in partnership with the DPAA, they'll actually come out and excavate and see if they can find proof of the service member, you know, bones, DNA, whatever they need, so that then the families can be notified of the service members, you know, being found.
I'm excited to be here today because I love the change that education can make in young people's lives. That's the way to raise up young people and encourage them. And of course, teachers are the ones that have that hands-on effect on the students, but we can empower teachers and they can do all of that so much better if they have the supplies and equipment that they need, and we can equip them to help their students achieve their goals and make the future better here in the Marshall Islands and Micronesia.
Excited to be out here and meet people of the community, share the knowledge of what we can do, what we can provide for the installation, and help people know that we're here and can provide a service for them.
I'm excited to be here because this tells me a little bit about God's paradise. It is so beautiful. This is just an inkling of how heaven is going to be.
I am Viviana. I'm Vice President of the Scuba Club. So this is Women's Dive Day. This is an annual event that was originally started by Patty in 2015. We have done it before in the past, but haven't been consistent, and we're super excited to host it again. To empower women divers, there's definitely a gender gap in this industry. Internationally, 39% of divers out of 2.5 million divers are women. It's about the same statistics on Kwaj. We checked this morning. I think it's 38%, so a little bit lower than the average. But we just kind of want to bring awareness to that gap and to diversity and inclusion. So right now we have 50 women registered for Women's Dive Day, and if I'm not mistaken, from some of the old Kwajis that have been here forever, they think that this is the second largest event in the Scuba Club history to have this many people in the water at once, which is super exciting. The women are going to be doing a scavenger hunt in the water, finding rocks with numbers that correlate to prizes that we'll give away at the pavilion later. There's also going to be an underwater photo booth. If you are new on island and you want to learn more about diving, I encourage you to find an instructor. I encourage you to join this Kwajalein Scuba Club Facebook page or visiting one of the 2 dive shops on island. So we have some really, really good diving here, and it's a lot more affordable than a lot of other places in the world. We have some amazing World War II wrecks that most people don't even get the chance to dive out here, and an abundance of marine life. It's incredible. Normally we have very good visibility, and the water's around 85 degrees year-round, so it doesn't get much better. So we've made a whole entire event out of this, so it's not just diving with the scavenger hunt and the photo booth underwater, but it's also burgers and hot dogs at the pavilion later, and we're giving away prizes. The women get t-shirts. It's a whole big thing.